something I found online. It's from Jungle Scout, and I thought you might be interested. As you can see, how much money do Amazon sellers make? Now, this was from 2024, so not too long ago. But I just want to kind of go over a couple things, and then we'll see where I fall into all of this. So let's get right to it. What are the average monthly sales for Amazon sellers? And you can see this graph here. I'm just going to brief over it quick. Now we're talking about not profit, we're talking average monthly sales. Okay. Under 500. You got 31% of sellers out here, according to Jungle Scout, making 31, making under 500. 31% are making under 500. Then when you get 501 to 1,000, 17%. 1,001 to 5,000, 22% of sellers are making between $1,001 and $5,000 a month in sales. 11%, $5,001 to 10,000 a month. Used to be 10,000 a month was like kind of the holy grail. I still tend to believe that when you get to 10,000, you've crossed over into a realm where you can really do this. Okay. Because it's good. I know how much it takes to get to that point. 11%. Then we go to $10,001 a month to 25,000 a month. 7% are making that amount. $25,001 to 50,000 a month is 5%. $50,001 a month to $100,000 a month is 4%. $100,001 up to 250,000 a month in sales, 1%, and then 251,000 to a half a million, 500,000 per month, 1%. So if you're wondering where I fall into that, let's take. So here you can see today is June 26th, the year is 2025. And so far I've done $194,397.53. And you can kind of see how we were going 22,000, 26,000, 34,000, 38,000, 43,000. This month is almost up. And look at, we have dropped from 43,006 down to, well, I'm not going to do much more than 30,000. If I ended up with 35,000, I'd be lucky, and I'm still down. So this is, and I show this to you to be transparent, guys. If you look at last year, I'm going to click on last year. Last year was all the way down here. You were doing 16, 15, 15, just across 16, 10, 9, 17, 14, that type of stuff. And so if you look at the average, I'm doing 32,399 on average. Like I said, you can see I had my highest month this year, 43,672. But we got to take the average of, I'll just round down and say 32,000, which means I fall in the 5% range. So moving on. Look at this. 24% of small and medium-sized businesses, Amazon sellers have reached lifetime sales of over 100,000. So I don't even want to believe that. You're saying only 24% of Amazon sellers have reached lifetime sales of over 100,000. What? That don't even make sense. But we're looking at lifetime sales here, right? Under 25,000 in lifetime gross sales, not profit. 47%, almost half, are under 25,000. When you get to 25,001 to 50,000 lifetime, 10%, up to 100,000, 6%, half a million, 10%, million, 8%. It between $1,001 and 5 million is 5%. $5 million $1 up to 10 million is 1%. I can tell you now, I fall into the 5%. I've done over 2 million, and now that's lifetime. And you got to remember, that's not saying much when you figure I started on Amazon in 2008, and then I had a break from 14 to 17. So yeah, I had a lot of years. I should be much higher than that, but that's okay. Again, it's all about being transparent. But I guess they wanted to do it again. How much money have Amazon sellers made over time? And I told you I'm in the 5 percentile there. Don't know, 13%. I realize that. Now I have to know because, if you watch my videos where I show all of my 1099Ks, I'm a legitimate business, I'm incorporated, and you go right into, if you don't know how much you made, I don't understand, because Amazon is going to cut you a 1099K to show you how much you made. So now let's get to the profit. How much do Amazon sellers profit? Okay, here's a couple of quick ones. Over half the sellers, 57%, see profit margins higher than 10%. Better still, 28% see margins above 20%. On the other hand, 13% said their businesses are not yet profitable. And I can tell you, if that is you, take heart, stay in the business. Being successful in business is mostly about being able to stay in business. If you can stay in business long enough, the tide will eventually turn. That's not me, that's just the law. Okay. But if we got down into it, as far as profit margins, what type of margins are we getting? 1 to 5% margins, 12% of sellers get that. 6 to 10%, 16% of us get that. 11 to 15%, 13% of us are making 11 to 15% profit. 15% are doing 16 to 20% profit margins. 15% are doing 21 to 25% profit margins. 26 to 50% profit margin is 13%. 51 to 100% is 1%. Currently not profitable, 13%. And we covered that before. I'll say it again. If that's you, stay in business. You'll get there. I promise you. But where do I fall in that? I get somewhere around 14% profit margins. It can go as low as 12. So I'm going to be somewhere around 13, 14 percentile. Okay. And that's okay because I do the volume. I I think maybe my last video or the one before last, I actually showed my numbers inside of Inventory Lab, so you guys can kind of see. Go back and watch that if you want to see what I really get to take home. It's not bad. Here's where it starts to get a little bit interesting, guys. So bear with me. I don't want to make this a long video, but I will. You know how I am. I will get to rambling and preaching and yelling at you when it comes to questions like this. How long does it take to become profitable on Amazon? Across all respondents, the majority, 58%, said they were profitable within the first year of selling. I don't know about that. But profits within 3 months, 22%. Profits within 3 to 6 months, 16%. Profits within 6 months to a year, 20%. Profits within 1 to 2 years, 11%. Profits within more than 2 years, 2%. And another 7% don't know. Guys, being profitable is obviously the ultimate goal. But like I said, business is a game. And if you can't stay in the game, you don't even have a shot. If you can figure out how to stay in the game, there is a universal law. You will eventually get what you need. What happens with most people is they run out of money before they can get there, specifically operating capital. And I'm gonna shut up on that because if I don't, I'll never shut up. Here's another good one that people like to talk about. How much do you need to start selling on Amazon? Okay. Sellers who spent less than 500 to get started, 16%. 500 to 1,000 spent to get started, 9%. 1,001 to 2,500 to get started on Amazon, 16%. $2,501 to $5,000, 23%. $5,001 to $10,000, 18%. More than $10,000 to get started on Amazon, 17%. Don't know, 2%. Listen, I talk a lot about arbitrage um, on this channel, and I can tell you, uh, if you're starting in arbitrage, just start where you are. Okay, that's all you need to do. Don't stress. Start where you are. If you got $50, $100, start with that. And just continue to reinvest it. Okay, don't make this all that difficult. How much time do you need to start selling on Amazon? Eh, how much do you want to make? You got to understand. I probably spend about 10 hours a week, but I work a full-time job on top of that. Listen, put as much time as you can. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And you already know that. So we could get into all of this. I guess it's according to Jungle Scout, the most respondents to this survey, 71% spend fewer than 20 hours a week. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to log it. I'm not really stressing over that though, guys. I'm worried about getting to the bag, okay? Whatever it takes. And I love work. I embrace work. I don't run from work, and I refuse to be influenced by, social media trying to get me to believe that there's something wrong with work. There's nothing wrong with work. Humans were put here and designed to work, to be productive, physical work, time consuming work, all of that, you know. So I'm not going for your fake Instagram post on beaches and all of that. I'm not going for it, and I don't need to because I like to work. One of the best things going for you in business is if you like work. If you starting a business to get out of work, oh my God, you are so lost. You you know what you could do? You could be one of them guys on the street, holding a sign. Well, no, you can't. Even that's work. I don't know. Learn the system, get on welfare. I don't know. Is selling on Amazon profitable in 2024? The majority of sellers have planned to continue selling on Amazon in 2024, and 39% plan to increase their revenue and launch new products. I don't know what happened to that other, I don't know what, 61% or whatever it may be. How could you not plan to increase revenue? I don't get it, but whatever. I would say again, I'm gonna say this again. Yes, the ultimate goal is to be profitable. That's what you're here for. But I'm just gonna I can't get into it. I'm actually planning on maybe giving a lecture for those who might be interested. In fact, if you made it this far, let me know. Would you be interested? And maybe I'll put a poll out there. Would you be interested in just attending a virtual, lecture where I just do all the yapping and just pour out knowledge of what I have learned on my journey. Um, let's look at 3 takeaways from successful Amazon sellers for profitable. Uh, Here's what I like. Just jump in now. Perfection is the enemy of profit. You're not going to be perfect. Just get going. Somebody said, I wish I knew how important it was to start sooner. The barrier to quick trajectory seems to be higher over time. I wish I had known where to start and where to get good information. I'm not, listen, you just got to get going. Some of us want to do a whole lot of research. Your best research is doing the work. That's going to teach you the most. That's the best research you can do. Look at this. Put in the effort, it will pay off. Oh my God. That is what I'm talking about, guys. See that? The key word there is effort. Effort. You got to do the work. Okay. 54% of sellers maintain that selling on Amazon takes some effort and is not a get rich quick strategy. Okay. Uh, what Amazon sellers say? I need to spend more time doing product research. Maybe. Uh, you need time, more and more analytics. I don't necessarily agree with that. Guys, I teach you the 7 steps to finding profitable products, and you really don't need that much more. I put at this point, I mean, I spend very little on tools, on software. It's not all that important after a while. Do I have some? Yes. But heck, for me, Seller 365 from 3 Coats is all you need. I wish I knew the right way to launch without burning a ton of money. Yeah, you wish. Just get going. I wish I knew about product research for finding ideal products. You wish? Okay, just do it. Just keep going. I wish I knew about the tools for some. Oh my God. Y'all and y'all tools. I'm telling you. I wish I knew which metrics are most important to keep track of. I don't know. See, some of these people, they just want to get into all this data and they love it because when you get into the data, then you can get stifled and then you can stumble and then you can feel important because you got something to stress over in front of it. Just do the damn work. All right, guys. I hope you got something out of this. I just thought it would be interesting. You might find it interesting, something to share. If you need me, you know how to get me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.